Welcome to Real Impact. Today, this is an incredible call that we're going to have today because we're talking about money. You know, um, so first of all, who am I? I'm Roger Pascal with Real Impact. We have this weekly call every week, and we have some phenomenal guests on the call every week, and our leaders within Impact. So who is Impact? Impact. We're your local real estate training company. We're your local source. Um, we are plugged in locally. We know who the players are locally. We know who the contractors are. We know who the lenders are. We know who the private money people are. We know what's going on in the market. We know what's selling, what's not selling, where it's selling at, and how to find deals. You don't only find deals in the MLS. You might find one out of, I don't know, 1 out of 20 out of the MLS, 1 out of 30 maybe. But we have the connections out there with the hard money lenders and our private wholesalers and hard money lenders too, but the private areas that we have there. So at the beginning of this call a while ago, we had a map up. We have multiple locations. Once again, you're going to plug in locally. This is what we do. We have each location has a monthly meeting. All the topics are different. So you can go to multiple meetings and never get the same topic. So we're excited about that. It's working well. And what do we do as Impact? We provide you a free local monthly meeting. And then on top of that, we have the best coaching system based on the Dennis Henson coaching system that's out there, that's available in the market. So we teach a system. We don't sit here and teach you how to paint a wall. That's not what we do. We teach you how to do it correctly, and be successful. And on top of that, we hold you accountable. We hold you accountable on every aspect of this business. You will not get through any of our training and not be successful because we're holding you accountable. Okay. So we get results, and with that, tonight's episode is where to find the money. You know, so many people talk about how concerned they are, how nervous they are, or they can't do this business because they don't have money. You know, when it comes down to it, money is probably the simplest part of this business that we have. The hard part is finding deals, finding houses. The simple part is finding money. Everybody wants to be in the real estate business, but not everybody wants to do the real estate business. They don't want to do the work. So they have money out there. If you're talking to people that have money in the stock market or in some type of retirement fund or something on that basis, you're going to find that they are not getting the returns that they expect to get. So tonight, how to get the money. You know, we have several questions that Karen's going to come on here in a minute and talk about the questions. With that, let's add everybody to the screen. Let's get everybody on here tonight, and we're going to get this thing kicked off, get this rolling. All right, we got everybody on board. Good deal. So the three most common types of money or types of financing, if that's what you want to call it, is going to be, of course, the bank financing, which we all do. We all familiar with that. We all know how that works. Then we have hard money lenders out there. So we kind of know how that works. These are the three most common types. And then we have the private money lenders. So we have that out there. And once again, once you get plugged into a local group, once you're working with the local investors, if you're getting coached by somebody that you're on a group call with, or you're talking to somebody in a cubicle in New Jersey, you know, bless your heart, as we say in Texas, bless your heart. So you need to plug in locally. This is what we do. So, all right, with that, let me introduce everybody on the call. Karen Maxwell, top center, and she is Impact Plano. She's also Impact Corporate Sales, but she just kicked off the new Plano location yesterday morning, had a phenomenal turnout, had an incredible program. It was about money. It's about money. It's about getting money for a deal. And she has some guests in there, and she had some sponsors in there. Just absolutely phenomenal. Karen, congratulations. You kicked that off.
Thank you.
Just 100% correct. Everything was good. All right, good deal. So then we have Tim and Gabi Lockhart and their Impact Wichita Falls and Impact Denton. And they are with us today. And, on top of that, they're money people. They have the money out there. So short-term lending, long-term lending, all that. So we're going to be talking to them tonight about money. Then we have Eric Short, Impact Grand Prairie. And Eric just kicked off his Grand Prairie location a couple of months ago. And so he's doing great there. His next program is actually going to be about money. Imagine that. And then Doug and Renee Toon, Impact Longview. And their next meeting next Monday night? Next week? Not next week.
Not this coming Monday. It's a week from this Monday. And that's going to be.
This Monday.
Yeah.
13th. And it's about money.
It's about money.
And then I'm doing a meeting Tuesday night and 2 nights in Lindale, Tyler. And what's it about? It's about money. But none of our meetings are about the same kind of money. None of our meetings are the same thing. It's all different meetings that we're doing. So we're excited about that. So we have some wonderful questions here that we've gotten throughout the week from some investors. And Karen, do you want to start kicking that off?
Yeah, I think the reason why money has, I don't know, we didn't plan this, by the way, just so y'all know. Yeah. We don't say, let's all plan and have a meeting about money. But money just keeps coming up. I mean, I got gas the other day for $3.37, and yesterday I came into town and it was $4.57, and I about flipped out. I thought it must be a mistake. Prices are going up on everything, and people are starting to panic. And I am shocked to say that Doug Toon told us earlier in the call before we came on that he has never used his own money. I don't know if I've ever met an investor that has never, ever used their own money. So, Doug, you better have some good stories, because I don't know how you're funding everything. So you're gonna be filling in a lot of these answers here. Okay, so before we get started with the actual questions, I want to have a little chit chat with Gabi, and I think everyone will benefit from this. I had a great, unique situation come up this week. I was working with a buyer, and he said, Karen, can you take a look at this hard money loan for me? I'm having trouble getting my lender to get to closing on time. And I said, sure, send it over. And I looked at it and I was like, dude, this is a scam. They were wanting him to put like $21,000 into a separate account to cover his origination fee. And he was not going to get it back, and it was just a red flag. So I reached out to Gabi and I said, can you take a look at this and see what you think? And she said, oh, that's absolutely a scam. It just didn't feel right, didn't look right. So then he sent me another one, and I said, wait, are you shopping for a loan? Like, we're closing in less than a week. Are you shopping for a loan? And he said, yeah, I don't think my lender is going to be able to close in time, and I don't want to lose out on this deal. I said, call Gabi. I said, look, submit the application, go to blazingstarcapital.com, submit the application, and let them see what they can do. Gabi, would you like to take over and tell us what you did?
Well, what we did, basically, we looked at the loan. Chris did. He looked at the application, and then he contacted some of those lenders that we have for Blazing Star Capital. And actually, we found a long-term loan, 30-year fixed for him. And we got a term sheet today, and he basically has to sign it. And then we have the appraisal, and we just need from the seller a few more documentations, and then we can close the loan. I mean, it's an easy process. We make sure that we work with lenders that are accredited for Blazing Star Capital.
And Gabi, how many days was it from application to the projected loan closing date?
Well, Karen and I, we talked on Wednesday about it. The thing is also, what I have to say is the appraisal was done on Thursday. So since we have already the appraisal done, this is going to close a lot faster. Some of those lenders, they do require appraisals. And so this is going to be a quick deal.
Yeah. It was literally, I talked to I talked to him Wednesday morning, and he submitted it immediately. I mean, and
Mhm.
listen, guys, when someone makes a recommendation to you to, hey, go try this, they really mean, hey, go try this. So go do it. I messaged him back and said, don't forget that. He said, I already did it. They're already working on it. They've already called me. And I was like, oh, so it was really fast and easy. Their loan, I'll try to get a screenshot in a second of their loan process. It's literally just the bottom fold of your screen,
Right.
and it's just like what, 6 things that you need, like their name, phone number, email address, the address of the property.
In the purchase price and how much money you're going to put down.
Yeah, I mean, that's it. Oh, and the estimate of your credit rating, like below
Yes.
this
Yes.
to this, or over this.
Yep.
So yeah, I just wanted to say it was a joy working with them, and I wish Chris could have been on here tonight because he's just so, like, he tries to help, and I kind of imagine Gabi and Chris working like playing a game. Like,
Yes.
okay, that won't work. Let's do it this way. This won't work. Let's do it this way. Oh, that won't work. Let's do it this way. Oh, what about this? But they are saving this buyer a ton of money because of the way like she said, they were able to find him a 30-year fixed, so he's not going to have to do hard money and then refi out and lose all of his points and origination fees and all that. So it was Gabi is a godsend with that. So thank you, Gabi and Tian at Blazing Star Capital, for taking care of that for us. Roger, did you want to add something? No. Okay. I'm sorry. I thought you were motioning for me. Okay. Okay. So just not sure what happened to Doug and Renee, but since Doug has never done this, have you guys used your own hard money? I mean, I'm sorry, your own cash to buy a property? I have.
I have periodically. I try not to. I've got some private lenders that I work with, and of course, I've got several bank loans or mortgages, should I
Right.
say? But I try to work with I've got 2 private lenders that I've worked with for over 10 years, and when I need money, I call them up. Sometimes I need a heads up. Sometimes they don't. Normally, a heads up is about 7 to 10 days that they have that, and we always have that built in. Well, I'm never. I think one time I needed to close in 48 hours, and I used a hard money lender that we just did a bridge loan essentially for a 72-hour loan, and I think Eric, you did something similar to that, didn't you? You got a temporary loan.
I did, Roger. I acquired a house subject to, and because there was no down payment, all I had to cover were closing costs and a couple of other items that came up with the tenant and or the landlord, and so I used my own money for a small period of time with the subject to.
Awesome.
But didn't you have that refinanced or something? You needed to borrow money for a short period of time.
I did. Shortly after that, I had it refinanced. That's exactly right.
Yeah, and you only had it refinanced because the seller ran into some situations on buying a house and called you up and said, "Can you?"
We needed to get him off of the mortgage and put the mortgage in my name instead.
Right. Very good.
All right. Awesome.
All right.
Doug, I was just, I said you're not even in the same question because you've never used your own cash. So in my experience, when using my own cash, it was wholesale to save up the money to be able to buy and hold, because that's all I knew. I had no experience. I had, not bad credit, but I didn't have enough credit to be able to go out and say, hey, I want to buy this house and give me a loan. I didn't, so I essentially would have had that down payment, but I just used my cash. So that was kind of different. And so the second follow-up question was, do you recommend that? And obviously now, of course, we know you don't ever want to use your own cash. And so we use other people's money. So on our money ladder, do we want to throw the money ladder up there real quick, CJ, just so we can take a look at it? This is what is really impacts money ladder. And this just shows the different steps of the money. Of course, your own personal cash, your own money is at the bottom of the staircase because that's what you want to stay away from. And as you see, as we go up, seller financing is at the very top. You've got your private money. You've got your buyers using credit cards or lines of credit, your state banks, mortgages, partners, hard money or thrifts, and of course your money. So we can take that back off and we'll discuss some more on hard money. Okay. Gabi, do you want to take over talking about hard money? I know in my experience, I've always been told that it's expensive and you don't want to use it unless you absolutely have to. So what would be some reasons that people would be able to use hard money?
Well, hard money is really I only recommend the hard money loans if it's really, really needed. And you only have to close fast and you hold it for more than 2 or 3 days. Like you have to hold it for about a month or 2 or 3 for fix and flips. But I would say you have to calculate everything in how you make the purchase price, how you buy the property. I mean, that's in that case, you really need a strategy on all the costs and everything calculated in. Yes, hard money is expensive. The interest rates usually start by 10% plus 4 points, 5 points on top of everything else.
Yep.
You can have it for 24 months, but you pay quite a bit of money.
Yes. Okay, so I also had a couple of other things that were that questions that have come up this week that we have said, do I ever put money in whenever I'm applying for a loan, whenever someone's offering to loan me money, do I ever want to give them my bank account information? Never. Tim's in the background going, no, never. What about sending them application fees and loan origination fees up front?
Never.
Who handles that money?
That's going to be handled at the title company at the closing table.
That's
you
right.
Never send. Sometimes you have an application fee, but this is a red flag. Do
Are you muting them?
There
you
we go.
really don't want to pay an application fee. If it's a $50 fee or something like that, that's okay. But anything above $100, I would not recommend.
That's another red flag. So, so we have literally experienced that this week with the scams. Another thing is people are not likely to email you soliciting to loan you money. So I've been getting them all week or for the last 2 weeks. I'm not sure why. I must have gotten on something and now I've got all these emails coming in from this private lenders network that wants me to pay $500 to apply. And so yeah, just be careful, buyer beware. Just, go with your gut, trust your instinct on that. So a couple other things is hard money is typically asset based. So it's based on the deal and not so much your credit or your, other things like that. But that's why it is expensive, but that's why it is an option. So like Gabi mentioned, it's perfect for like if you can't close fast enough, if you have another loan going on and you need to close faster than that because you might lose the deal, you can use hard money. And to meet the deadline, if the lender won't fund in time. Oh, and if you're planning on wholesaling it. I know we have a couple of flips that we're doing and we're looking at some hard money to be able to do those. So definitely go ahead, Gabi.
With the wholesale, I mean, we have some really great deals right now on the wholesale. So check us out first on Blazing Star Capital before you use the hard money because there's some really incredible deals that you can do that way.
Yeah, Gabi's they're offering an amazing incentive for wholesalers. Go ahead, Renee.
Karen, why don't you go ahead and explain to people who don't know what hoteling is because they think you're saying wholesaling, but you're saying hoteling.
I forgot. Thank you very much. So wholesaling is where you get a property under contract and then you assign your equitable interest in the property to an end buyer. That's wholesaling. So you get it and you sell your equitable interest to somebody else or assign it to someone else. Wholetailing is where you get a property and you can literally sometimes mow the yard and then list it. But you still have to close on it. and then you're going to have to hold it until you close on it on your sell side. But I've seen people that have gone in and bought a house that was basically a hoarder house, or just maybe it's trash because a tenant moved out and they just left a bunch of stuff around, and they go in and clean it out, clean it up, and then list it. They don't go in and remodel it. Houses, contrary to popular belief, houses do not have to be remodeled to the nines or to the tens in order to be sold on the MLS. I mean, people are buying stuff. So, but yeah, just a little bit, kind of like putting lipstick on a pig and then reselling it. And that's called wholesaling. So thank you very much for that, Renee. I forget that not everybody knows what that is.
That's right.
Okay. Partners is our next step on the money ladder. I personally do use partners. I actually have 2 flips going on right now with my realtor business partner, and we found our private money to pay for the property with a guy that we know on Facebook, and we've been knowing him for years, and he knows what kind of work we do, and so they invested with us, and he's an equity partner. So I have an equity partner that put up all the money, and for the purchase and the rehab, and then my other business partner, we have the same creativity and the same style, so he is handling the rehab. So you definitely want to reach out to people and say, hey, do you want to do this deal with me? Let's be partners, and figure out who's going to do what, who's going to handle what part of the deal, and then discuss your partnership percentages, and then get it all on paper, and then just do it. Anybody else have any good partnership stories? No? Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, our next step on the money ladder is mortgages. And Gabi, it's unfortunate for you that we're blessed to have you with us, but unfortunately you're the one with also the mortgage banking experience.
Technical difficulties tonight. Sorry about that, y'all.
Well,
go ahead.
With the mortgage, basically, you have to be able to qualify for the loan. We have some of the loans programs that's basically rent-based, but they're sometimes also difficult to get. Basically, you can get a loan, but you have to put 80 or there's an 80% loan. Basically, you have to put 20% down or 25% down. And it's starting by $100,000 loan amount or 150 loan amounts. There are different criteria, but you have to have a good credit score. Right. And it's based on the rental income. So those are kind of the loans that are coming out. You can do stated income loans, but again, you have to put 20 or 25% down.
Okay. And I'm assuming you can't go borrow that.
No, you cannot borrow them. You have to have it in your bank account, and you have to have about 3 or 6 months of a reserve.
3 to 6 months of reserve?
3 or 6, depending on the program, yes.
Okay. And do you want to explain what reserves are for anyone that might not know what reserves are?
A reserve can be a 401k. It can be money in your bank account. It can be a retirement account from somewhere else that you can pull money out. It's like kind of emergency money.
Right. Okay. Good deal. So not all banks, not all mortgage company, not all lenders are the same. Everyone has different criteria. Like I know, well, we'll get to that when we talk about state banks, but I know that even within the like FHA, Freddie Mac, and all the Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, and all those, they all have different criteria. And credit score is a big factor there, and the amount of down payment that you have is a factor. So that's why I love working with Gabi, because she already knows all that. So she can go in and say, okay, your credit score is here, but you have some cash, so we can put you over here. We can eliminate all this, but we can do this for you. And so make sure you give her a call. Because she does more than just I don't know. I don't even know how to explain what you guys do, because you do so much.
Oh, thank you. But if you have a question, just give me a call, and if I cannot help you, I can get you into the right direction who can.
That's right. That's right. So you could go to blazingstarcapital.com, fill out the little short form, and then they're going to go look at it and give you your options. And I'm sure there's a phone number on there somewhere.
Oh, there's a phone number. Yes, I can find us on
Bobby,
Facebook.
this is
everything.
probably not the right term, but I kind of think of you as a lending broker because you've got lots of different ways of getting to the end.
That is, yes.
I
And
said I was a little jealous.
so I want to make sure that when you sign the dotted line on the end, that your loan is going to be perfect. And not perfect, but that you know the risk basically that you get into.
And it's the best loan for that person, for that deal.
For that deal, and that we do talk about exit strategy in case you need one, because maybe you got into a hard money loan, then we find out, okay, we can go this in this direction to get you back out of it. But you do need to know your numbers. That's important.
Right. Another thing that I was actually thinking about whenever they sent out the wholesale lending, the summer lending for the wholesalers. So it's basically transactional funding. So if they're wholesaling a deal and they need transactional funding, Gabi and Chris at Blazing Star are there to help them get that deal closed for them. And I was like, you know what? More wholesalers should be submitting their deal to Blazing Star so that, number one, they know if it's not a deal. Because if Gabi and if they take a look at it and they see that it's not a deal, they're going to let you know. So sometimes, you're just kind of like, well, I wonder if I should pull the trigger or if I should just wholesale it or whatever. But guess what? Some of you wholesalers, you might qualify for a loan and you might be able to take that house down yourself. So if you're wondering about that, if you're like, man, I wish I had the money to take it down instead of just wholesaling it, or if you're trying to get out of wholesaling and are looking to start buying and holding, they're the ones to talk to on that.
Yes, that's correct.
All right. Let's see. Let me get back to my questions. We covered mortgages. So now we're going to talk about state banks. I love the local community banks. And I know that's what Dennis and a lot of us use, the local community banks. And the reason why we prefer those is because, it's not the right name. Is that the right name, Tim? Is it community banks? Like I'm talking about the one just right around the corner, not the big banks that I can't walk in and know my banker.
Yeah.
I want to be able to go
state
into
state banks or local community banks that have, a few branches.
Right. Yeah. So my bank has I use First United. I'll tell anybody I use First United, and they, you want to talk to whenever you're in real estate and you have enough properties, you want to go talk to their commercial lender because they'll let you do like a portfolio loan. I think that comes up later in the ladder. But when you're dealing with a local branch that you have been a member of, you have your money there and you've dealt with them for a long time, they get to know you. And go in and talk to the president. Just don't go in and talk to the teller. Go in and ask to talk to the president and tell them what you're doing and what your vision is. And their job is to lend money. And hey, if nothing else, you get some direction from them. Sure, Karen, I'd love to help you. But what we're going to need to see is 2 years of tax returns, showing that you know what you're doing as a landlord. Okay, I don't have that right now, but I'll be back in 2 years when I do. And then therefore we knew what we had to put together. They wanted to see that we were making money, that we knew what we were doing, and 2 years of tax returns. So it was 2.5 years before we were able to start using a local bank. And then we had banks fighting over us. So Citizens Bank over in Kilgore loves working with investors, by the way. And First United and Landmark Bank up in North Texas. So just keep those in mind and just go call your bank tomorrow. Everybody call your bank tomorrow and say, hey, I'm a real estate investor and I'd like to come in and talk to you about what my lending options are with you guys. Okay? Not too hard. I gave everybody an assignment.
So Karen, I've got some clients right now that they put together their banking package. They called the banks. They asked the banking questions that we have in our program. And then they picked out the best banks to approach. The first bank, and they had never done any type of banking in their life other than just having a checking account, but never any type of business checking or business credit. And they took the package that we put together in the lesson. They went to the best bank they found there locally where they're at. And they walked in, and the guy immediately gave them a $250,000 line of credit right there on the spot. And they had never had, they own a house. They do well. Credit's good, not, I don't know where the credit's at. I don't get involved in that, but they said the credit's good. So, but at the same time, banks that are in business, anybody you're borrowing money from is in the business to loan money. And it's all about the risk. It's all about where their risk is going to be in that program. So once again, as I said at the very beginning of this program, money's the easiest part of this business. So, don't be concerned about walking into your local bank. And what you're doing is you're building a relationship.
That's right.
The reason that we don't really recommend the big national, international banks is because it's hard to build a relationship. Some of those guys get moved around. Some of these big national banks, those bankers you're building a relationship, they get moved from branch to branch to branch. So our aspect here is you want to build those relationships. You want to build relationships with companies like Blazing Star, build relationships with regular mortgage companies like what Gabi has, and others that are out there. But it's all about building those relationships, walking in, and the banks are there to solve your problem. So there you go. Now,
that's right.
On with the rest.
That's right.
Let me say one more thing also.
Go ahead.
I mean, Tim and I, we work with a local bank here too also, and I have a great relationship also with the same person that we are using. And Tim's mentees, we send them over to him, and he helps them because he knows exactly those people are being trained, they're being held accountable, and you have a much higher chance of getting a line of credit with those people. Being a mentee does help in the long run also. I just have to throw it in, sorry.
No, you're fine. What Gabi is referring to is the fact that at Real Impact, we do one-on-one coaching. So we are mentors, and we have our mentees, and our students are taught and held accountable on how to be a successful real estate investor. And there are steps that they have to go through. And if they don't do their assignments, then they don't get to come to class, basically. But by the time they get to that point where they're ready to go talk to the bank, they've already learned how to put that credibility package together. They've already learned how to analyze deals. They've already found deals that they're going to be wanting to purchase. So they are prepared, more than just someone saying, you know what, I think I want to go be a real estate investor, and I'm going to go watch some stuff on YouTube, which, don't get me wrong, there's a lot of information out there. But this is the aspect that a lot of people are missing. They haven't gotten it all tied together, and they're not prepared whenever they go speak to the banker to properly present themselves. Even going talking to a realtor, right, Roger?
That's correct.
They're not always prepared. They don't even know what they're looking for. So if you don't know what you're looking for and it doesn't make sense, then how am I supposed to invest with you or give you a loan?
Right. When they go into a bank, or they go to even a private individual they're borrowing money from, if they don't have a plan, what are you going to do with that money? Well, I don't know. Well, what is, how much is it going to cost to fix up? What are you looking for? What's your exit strategy on that house? Are you going to rent the house? Are you going to retail it out on the market? What are you going to own or finance it? What are you going to do? And this is where we see other investors get in. I'm not going to say get in trouble, but they don't accomplish what they're wanting to accomplish. And so if somebody calls Tim or I that are realtors, and we hear this all the time. I want to buy investment real estate. What are you looking for? Anything. We're at anywhere. I just want a deal. Well, that doesn't tell us anything as a realtor. But when you walk up to a realtor, or you reach out to a realtor.
Roger, can you call me when you find a good deal?
Yeah. That's right. So you have this game plan, and you literally present that to the realtor. We do the same thing with money people, whether it's a private lender, whether it's a hard money lender, or a traditional mortgage company or a bank, for a short-term loan. Whatever you're looking for, we have that package, that banking package that we do, and we take it to the bankers, and they're like, this is great. So the banker that the students went to, he says, I'm authorized to give up to $250,000. If I need to, if it needs to be more, then it goes to a committee, and we can make that decision up to, I think you said $1 million. If it needs to be above $1 million, it goes to the next committee up on that. And that's how their system works. So if you have a good enough package and you walk in there with the right information, the banker's going to want to, or private money lender or whatever is going to want to work with you. So that's what I do on my private lending. When I'm borrowing money from my lenders that I have out there, I literally show them, here's what we've got, and this is what we're going to do, and this is what it's going to take to do it. And then they have a business plan out there, and this is what I'm going to pay you, on this money that you're going to loan me.
That's right.
Good one.
All right. Our next step on the money ladder is credit cards. So Doug and Renee, I'm going to let y'all take this one because I heard the story earlier. Well, you alluded to it. So go ahead and tell us the story about buying property with credit cards.
Well,
wait a minute. I get to start.
She's going to.
I don't have a lot of info on this because I really was not here when we did this deal with credit cards.
But you're doing line of credits now.
Right. But line of credits is also a part of that. So I'm going to let Doug tell you the details and the specifics, but we actually pulled down how many credit cards?
I had probably 10 credit cards. Most of them, all of them. I'll say most of them. I think there was one that was like $5,000, but most of them were $20,000, $10,000. So, that's about $150,000. Mm-hmm. How hard is it to get $10,000 in credit? It's not hard.
Not hard at all.
If you have a really good job, you can pull down some credit cards. Well, if you get 10 of them like that, and you take, what we did was when, they send you these little checks. Okay. When you get those checks, if you write it out and you put it in the bank, they're going to charge you a percentage right then.
Right.
And that's it. Because most of these things are 0% interest for 12, 15, 18, and I've seen some that were 24 months.
Right.
So you can get 0% interest for up to 24 months. And it's not hard to get. Once you get one $20,000 credit card, you can do another one and another one and another one, especially if you're paying them back on time. Right. You have to pay them back on time.
Right.
You got to keep up with that. And so I would spend one day a month paying credit cards, just paying. But it was worth it because I bought this house. It was an REO, and they wanted $44,000. Well, it was toast. I mean, it was in a bad shape, and I put $40,000 in it, but I bought it for 23. They wanted 44. I offered 22, and they took it for 23. So I said, okay, cool. So I pulled down that much in credit cards. I wrote them a check. We closed on it. And then I used the credit cards, the other credit cards, to buy materials and pay. Don't use a contractor that won't take a credit card.
Right.
Don't do it. Oh, do you take credit cards? No, I'm sorry. Well, I'm sorry. I have to use somebody else or do it yourself. But so that's how we did it. And before the time period was up, we rolled it over into
it was supposed to have been a 30-year mortgage. The bank lied and said, "Oh, we meant 15. Sorry."
Yeah. I thought you were talking about your personal house. No, I was kind of new to the bank thing anyway.
Well, everybody's a newbie at some point.
At some point in time, exactly. Right?
Yeah.
But it turned out okay. We held it for a couple of years and we sold it and we made a lot of money.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And it worked. And I teach you how to do that. It's not hard. You just something you have to do.
The credit game. Do you want to touch on lines of credit at all, Renee?
Okay. So, if you already currently have some properties, maybe you have a couple of rentals or several rentals, and you're you either, the one we have right now, we own outright. And so we're able to go and pull down a line of credit on that. And then the plan is to owner finance it once we pull down a line of credit. which that's just using your assets and your money in smart ways so that you can go on and do another deal.
Right. So some people might ask, well, can you have a line of credit on a house that you own or financed? I guess so. There's no line of credit police out there telling you can't. So you still got it. Use it.
Yep.
That's right. So we would do, we took all the properties that we own free and clear and bundled them up into packages of 5.
Mm-hmm.
And then had to have appraisals and all that. I mean, these little houses were buying for back in the day when you could buy them for $20,000 and put 10 into it. And so you rent a house for $30,000, and we were renting them for $850 a month, and they appraised at $65,000. I love 2-bedroom, 1 bath. By the way, I love them.
You do too.
I mean, they're easy, they're fast, and they still
rent.
Yeah, they rent. Yeah.
A lot of single parents out there.
Yeah, there are. And I love housing because housing pays for those. So, I mean, I love little 2-bedroom, 1 baths. So yeah, we would put them all together and one tip and then BRR, put them all together, then pull that money out, do that cash out refi, and then be able to go buy more houses. And I mean, I was just like, Doug, that's one thing I do not miss about my old position and with the old company was paying the credit cards.
Yeah.
And all the electric bills and all that. I did everything that I could to put everything on auto pay that I could. Cause you can spend a couple days doing things like that. And if you miss one, not fun.
Not good.
No, anxiety goes through the roof. So, okay. Using buyers. So yeah, I have worked with buyers and used their, a previous buyer that I knew was basically turn them into a private lender. But sometimes you say, hey, you want to buy this property? I really wanted to take it down, but I don't have the money to do it. And then that's kind of like partnering as well. Let me work with you. Let me do the sweat equity. Let me learn from you while I do this property. You pay for it, and then I'll help you with the work on it. And then get in there and learn all that you can from that person if they're willing to do that for you. But we've actually gotten 2 properties. It's not really using the buyer's funds, but it's we already have them sold before we've ever even started the rehab. So that's kind of a unique thing too, to buy a property and be remodeling it and already knowing who your buyer is going to be. We don't let them come in and like dictate, like, I want to do this and I want to do that. We are going to let them pick the paint color. That's about it. So next stop on their money. Or anybody else have a good story about using with buyers? Nope. Okay. The next one is private money. I know we could all talk all night about private money. But I'd like to hear from you guys. Where have you found your private money lenders? And I know it's not on Facebook.
No.
I mean, I have found some on Facebook that know me, but they don't come to me and message me on Facebook or post, I'm a private money lender. Eric?
Well, there is that question, I'll use in just conversation with people that I know, family members. I have a question for you. This might not apply to you, but do you know anybody who has some money they might like to invest that isn't getting the return they expect on the stock market, and they could invest it and get 3 to 4% back, and it's secured by real estate? Do you know anybody who might be interested in that? And usually they're like, well, yes, I do, but I'm kind of interested in that also. So that's a great way to farm for some other private money lenders.
That's right. What about you guys? Everybody else?
Well, it's all about contacts. It's all about who you know. My private money. You can go to family if you want to do that. It's not always optimal to do that, but you can do that. But I go to individual business people out there, and I talk to them. And one thing you want to make sure on a private money deal is you don't want to take $20,000 if all they've got is $20,000. That is very important. That you don't tap somebody out. You don't take all their money on what they're doing, and you also don't commingle funds. You don't mix funds together. I don't go to the 4 of y'all that are on this and say, hey, let's all pull together and make this deal happen. That's just not a good idea. If you're going to do that, you need to get somebody involved in it that's a financial attorney or somebody to make sure that you're doing that correctly. You don't need to do that on your own. You might get a nice little visit from some guys in a black Suburban one day. There's just certain things, but the way I do it is I just talk to people, and as very similar to what Eric just said is, do you know anybody that might want to loan money out and get an 8% return, or get I normally go 3 to 4% over what regular mortgage rates are and long-term mortgage rates are, and it seems to work for me.
That's right.
But another thing about private money that I need to throw out there is it is so important that when you borrow money from somebody, you communicate with them every single day.
Yep.
It can be by phone call, it can be by text, whatever you set up at the very beginning, and give them an update of what's going on. If nothing's going to happen tomorrow because the guys went in there and tape embedded it today and it has to dry for a couple of days, then on tomorrow's text is just to remind you nothing went on to the house today because we're still waiting on the tape embedding to dry, so before they can paint. And it is so important that you just send them a quick little text every day. You might send them pictures of things that are being done. Personally, if there's a surprise, I've already built that into my calculations. But if we go in there and find out there's some sewer lines that need to be replaced, or some water lines that need to be replaced, or the AC HVAC is not working right, I don't communicate with them and say, "Oh my God, I can't believe this, but we weren't expecting the plumbing to be bad, and now we're doing that." Don't do that. You're gonna disclose that sooner or later after it gets done, and say, "Hey, by the way, we went ahead and did this," but it doesn't affect their price or their interest that they're getting on that. And I also make sure that if I've done a deal and it's a bad deal, they're always going to get their money no matter what.
That's right.
I don't go through and try to renegotiate the deal. I don't go through and say, I'm just not making the money that I thought I was going to make on this. So you need to take a cut on your money. If you do that, you'll never have them as a private lender, and you don't know who knows who. There's the 7 degrees of separation that we have in this world. It is really, really there. Okay. So it might not be who you know, it's who they know. So be careful with that. And always make sure they get paid. They get paid on time. So you're doing whatever you have to do to make sure that they have their money, and as their money as what you've agreed to pay them. I also never make them a partner in the deal, because they go through and say, "Well, it's not selling because you put the wrong color granite in the kitchen." And I was told by a friend of mine, because anybody that uses that color granite, the houses never sell. So you never make them a partner, or they say, "Well, I could have got that granite done cheaper," or "I've got a plumber that probably could have done that cheaper. So that needs to come out of your cut, not out of my cut." So be careful on partners, but private money lenders are never partners. They're a lender, just like a bank.
That's right. I saw you raise your hand, Doug.
Yeah. So we talk to everybody, just everybody that we know when we're with them for any extended period of time. Usually not new people, but people we already know. And, we do tax sales, and that you can't use a mortgage on a tax sale because you don't have a title policy. And so I can do tax sales with private money all day long, though.
Right.
And what I do is I teach my private money people that I'm going to borrow what I need to buy it, and then we'll do little kind of like with a hard money where you get a little draw every once in a while. And the thing is that you just can't, if you do it right, you can't lose, because even if it's redeemed, if somebody comes and redeems it, that's 25%. I offer my private money people 10%. and we're killing it. You know, we buy a house for, you know, $5,000, $10,000, and then we put another, you know, 10 or 20, 30 into it, and then we turn around and sell it for retail. You know, what I usually try to do is just stay right, and we have to hold it for 2 years anyway. So we want to stay right under long-term capital gains. So
Right.
just stay right under that threshold, and you keep the taxes down pretty good.
Absolutely. Yes, sir. My private lenders came from networking. Like you said, I tell everybody knows what I do. And if they don't, I'm always confused. I'm like, how do you not know what I do? I don't understand. But everybody knows what I do. And I found 2 at real estate networking events. And one of them was she's one of my very best friends. And she was a sister to a patient that was on my Facebook. And I posted one night that we were going to go have drinks and do some networking with some other investors. Does anybody want to come? And she said, do you mind if I come along? And I said, absolutely, come on. And that was the first time I'd ever met her. And, you know, it worked out great. So if people don't know what you do, then how do you expect them to, if people don't know what you're doing, how do you expect them to want to do that with you or be involved in that in any way, shape, or form? I also agree with not really working with family. Sometimes they feel like they should be able to have that design. And so we just look for money. We're not looking for a family member to do that. So, I mean, it's up to you, but I would never rent to family either. It's just business. You can rent if you're family, but you're going to pay your application fee just like everybody else. That's just, and I'm going to be your landlord, and it's just the way we do it. Let's just keep it right. Tim, did you want to share where you found any of your private money lenders? Any tips that anybody else hasn't covered, maybe?
Oh, it's the same as everyone else. Just talking to the people that I do business with, talking to, you know, chiropractors, insurance agents, just everybody.
Yeah.
Have y'all ever read Tony Jardieu's tag on his email? If you've ever gotten an email from Tony, it always says, you know, we do this, we do that, and if you want to make, you know, money on your return on your money, you know, call us. I mean, it's a great idea.
That's right. And therefore people know what they're doing, and, you know, and he's asking them right there. So great. I'm so sorry. I have to, Eric, did you have a question? Did you have another comment? I have missed some questions over here in the chat, so I just wanted to make sure we get them answered. No? Okay. So one of the questions we have, Mike is asking if there's an impact in Nacogdoches or the Lufkin area. Short answer is no, there's not yet, Mike. But we are working on that. That is actually one of our we're working on getting somebody to open one. So I don't think he saw us pointing. I think
but it's close enough to Longview.
Yes.
You know, and
I was going to text
Longview is not that far away.
That's right.
Yeah, Mike, we're texting you our cell phone right now.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so that's the answer to that one. And then Kim was asking, what's the name of Gabi's private money company again, please? Gabi, do you want to take that and explain about what the actual, is it a private money company or what exactly is it? And it's Tim and Gabi's, by the way. It's just
yes. Well, Tim can answer it too. So Tim, you want to answer? So it's Blazing Star Capital, and it's asset based. Basically, we're gonna close in an LLC. And if you have questions, give us a call. The phone number is on blazingstarcapital.com.
Perfect. How to do other people's money? I think that's kind of a general question. I think we've answered that a lot. So Larry, I'm going to say if you have a question that we haven't, never mind. I see it down here. He has another question. Matthew would like to know, Eric, when do you meet in Grand Prairie? When and where do you meet in Grand Prairie?
When
Sorry.
and where? In Grand Prairie, that's a great question. Every month on the second Tuesday at Main Event on 161 and Warrior Trail. We started at 6:30 with networking, and food and drink is provided. We go till about 9 o'clock. So second Tuesday, we have it coming up on the 14th of this month, 6:30 p.m. Be there, bring a bib.
Awesome. And bring a friend.
Absolutely.
I see everybody jumped in to answer my questions. Thank you so much. I see Dennis jumped in. So thanks, Dennis. I see you're watching. We miss you. Mike is asking if Larry is self-employed. He's looking. Mauricio is looking for some mentoring. Who could I go for help on this? Mauricio, please make sure that you reach out to us. I'm not sure I can't tell which group that you're posting from, but it depends on what area you're in and kind of who.
Facebook.
Yeah. And who's in your area, where you're near, where you could get to, and somebody from our team would be glad to reach out to you and put you in touch with one of us. John Herrick, thank you, John. John does offer fast funding, multiple credit lines. Roger, what interest rate do you usually offer your private investors? What's your range that you usually offer?
I normally offer, like I said earlier, right now it's about 8%, but about 3 points over what a typical mortgage is. Not a killer great deal mortgage and not a bad mortgage, just somewhere in the middle. Right now, it would be 5% would be what a kind of a mortgage rate would be. I'd work 8% on that. If it goes up to 6, I'm going to work 9%.
That's
so
right.
about 3 points above.
Yep. I've paid private money 12% because it was that fast and easy. And there were no trash fees. Watch out for the trash fees. Make sure they're not charging you all these ridiculous fees. Like, make sure that you're aware of that, because when you get your closing statement, make sure you look over that and question them. Don't get me riled up about trash fees.
I didn't really feel Karen.
Could you tell I got a little? Angel asks, hello, what's the first step I need to do? Angel, I'm not sure what your question's about, what the first step and what. And we are actually out of time. So, Angel, I'm not sure.
Let me throw this out there, Karen, real quick.
Go ahead.
Is reach out to us at Real Impact and realimpacttraining.com. Reach out to us. The first step you need to do is you need to get plugged in.
That's right.
I don't know where you're at, but if you're even if you're in another part of the country, you need to plug into your local REI groups. Is where your first step you need to make.
And CJ, I'm not sure if you have the ability to do this, but since Dennis isn't here tonight, I will give my phone number out. It is 903-445-6023. And if you spam me, I can absolutely block you like all the car warranty people. But for those of you that want to talk to, and I'm a professional at that, by the way. If you want to talk to someone and reaching out doesn't work, just feel free to give me a call, 903-445-6023. And we didn't even get to all of our announcements, and it's like time to shut down, right?
Well, let's go ahead and get the announcements real quick. On the 14th, on the 18th, we've already done the 14th. In Oklahoma City, we're doing a all-day Subject 2 training in Oklahoma City, and you can find that on any of our MeetUp sites, most of our Facebook sites. You just reach out to us anywhere. We can get you the link to sign up with that. It's an all-day event. Lunch is included. It's $2.99, and then you can bring a friend for $100. The next announcement that we have is Alan Cowgill is going to be in the area from August 15th to the 19th. And then he's going to be with us all day on August the 20th, which is on a Saturday. And that one is $45 to be with Alan Cowgill. Alan is the money king of the world.
Private money expert.
Private money expert. He is just absolutely phenomenal on that. So there we go there.
And $45 is amazing.
Yeah, you want to sign up for that. You want to get on board with that, because we're so fortunate to bring Alan in. He's not from the area. He's traveling. halfway across the country to be here that whole week. And he's going to be at 5 locations that week. And he's going to be going over some basics about the money. But on Saturday, it's the meat and potatoes of money. Okay. And then we have the getaway. Can you throw that up there? Our wonderful bean footage there. So we have the getaway that we will be going on in September
the 21st through the 25th.
5th. Yes, September 21st through the 25th. We only have a handful of rooms left right now. We've already booked almost all the rooms. So if you're interested in that, go to mastermindgetaway.com and you can get more information there. It is, I believe, $11.95 right now for the next openings that we have. And when it's sold out, it's sold out. If we can get other rooms, we will. That $11.95 does not include airfare, but it is an all-inclusive resort. We're going to be at the Jade.
Oh, and that's for 2 people.
Dreams Jade Cancun. Yeah.
And 2 kids under 12.
And 2 kids under 12. But they had to be your own kids. So, so you're going to, but it's absolutely, all the food is included. All the drinks are included. We have some phenomenal people there that are going to be our guest speakers or our guest experts that we network, we play, we go to the ocean, we do some fishing, we do some water sports. We do the big parachute behind the boat thing. There's a restaurant there, not at the facility, but outside of the facility that is actually a restaurant in a cave, which is how cool is that? And so last year we had 72, I believe.
62.
This year we're going to break that. We're breaking that. So it's going to be a great time. We'll love to see you there. And next week on this call is we are going to be talking advanced subject 2, which is going to lead us into the Oklahoma City all day event. So we're going to lead that in. Advanced subject 2 is next Sunday night at 7:00. We really appreciate everybody being on here. Phenomenal information, guys. I really appreciate all your information that you came here, brought to the table. Everybody on this call, great questions out there for those of y'all that have been participating in the chat, that have been giving us questions throughout the week. But we're going to wrap this up. We thank you so much for being here today. We expect to see you next Sunday. Advanced subject 2 is what we're going to be talking about.
All right.
And Karen's phone number is on the bottom somewhere. There it is. All right. So if you need to sell car warranties, call Karen.
Do not call me for car warranties.
All right. Yeah. Yeah. So there you go. Oh, this way. Yeah, there we go. So, all right. Well, good deal. Everybody, thank you so much for being on here today. And we appreciate it. We missed the tip of the week, but we'll get that next week. Good deal.
Shoot.
Thank
Yes.
you.
All right. Thank you.
All right.
Bye.
Talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye.